A Delaware judge agreed to fast-track Twitter's lawsuit seeking to force Elon Musk to follow through on his contract to buy the company for $44 billion, according to Law and Crime.
So managing editor of Law and Crime, Adam Klasfeld, says Twitter is arguing that Musk is attempting to sabotage the company and is taking every opportunity to trash them, and that he invented the bot issue to manufacture an exit ramp that does not exist.
Adam is here with us now to tell us more. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. So the thinking, I guess, is that the judge agreeing to hear this case very quickly is sort of itself a win for the company. Can you explain more about that?
Yes, well, it's a big win for the company because Elon Musk had attempted to get the trial in early February, basically saying that Twitter's claim that the drop dead date was in October was false, that he had plenty of time. And this is crucial, that they needed time for complex technical discovery, which is, of course, Elon Musk's claim that Twitter was misleading him and Twitter users more generally about which percentage of accounts were inauthentic. They claim it's less than 5%. And basically, Twitter has argued that this was a manufactured issue that Elon Musk set up because he saw that the market conditions weren't looking quite as favorable as when he started this. So the judge rejecting the kind of long timeline necessarily, even though she hasn't made any rulings on the merits of this yet, this is just a timeline setup, but it does suggest that this complex technical discovery that he wanted wasn't something that resonated with the judge. She set a very brisk timeline. It was just slightly later than Twitter had wanted. They wanted the September trial, but it's still a very brisk trial. We're going to get it in the fall.
And what's your reading of whether or not he's going to get away with this kind of bot excuse for getting out of this? You know, people have criticized him, and he responded to this criticism in the letter that he sent to Twitter, saying that he never raised the bot issue in the beginning. He says, well, it's not his fault, not his problem. He didn't have to raise it in the very beginning. You know, what would he have to prove? Like, who has the burden of proof here going into this case?
Well, every legal expert who I've spoken to about this issue doesn't think that it's a winner, essentially, that essentially he waived due diligence on this. Twitter argues in court that it's not part of the agreement. Now, the agreement is included in their lawsuit, and it's a very interesting read, the lawsuit. We attach all the court documents to our coverage generally, and if readers want to see the lawsuit, they embed Elon Musk's tweets essentially criticizing the company on this bot issue, hammering the bot issue again and again. And Twitter says that it's basically he's gratuitously trashing them. There's even one of Musk's tweets embedded in the lawsuit that is essentially a poop emoji. That is embedded in the lawsuit. So this kind of, no legal expert is essentially saying that this practice of Elon Musk tweeting again and again his criticism of the company is going to be something that will favor him in Delaware Court of Chancery. Quite the opposite.
But can you walk us through this? So Twitter providing all this evidence that Elon has disparaged the company, that was not acting responsibly as someone involved in it, is subjecting it to all this public criticism. But then what they're trying to do is sue him into forcing him to buy the company. So does that play against the idea that it's from the company's perspective, how can it be good to make this person take over the company who they're also proving has said all these disparaging things about it and is thus not, competent to be in charge of it?
Well, it sounds counterintuitive, to say the least. Of course, as you note, that what they are seeking is specific performance of the contract, meaning they want him to follow through on this deal to purchase the company. That they want this billionaire CEO who they claim is trying to sabotage the company by inviting the SEC to investigate it. That's the man who they want to purchase and own it. Now, one might say that this is a litigation position, that they want to, that both sides are essentially playing hardball, and maybe they'll go to the negotiating table. Time will tell. But the relief that they're seeking, and you correctly point out, This person who they say is trashing the company, that is disparaging the company, that is trying to sabotage the company, is the very person that they want to complete the deal, which would necessarily mean him owning the company.
And based on the legal experts that you've talked to, what are the chances that this winds up with a ruling that forces the sale to close? And given what's happened to the stock price in the wake of all of this, is that still possible? Like, is there enough collateral based, would he have the money and the investors still, given what has happened?
Well, the experts who I've spoken to say that Twitter it seems to have a pretty strong case. I mean, the Delaware Court of Chancery wants to have contracts be predictable. There's been some speculation going around that the Delaware Court of Chancery might not want to tempt the waters at Elon Musk. There's been some speculation what will happen if the court orders specific performance of the contract and Elon Musk's defies it. The experts that I have spoken to kind of poo-pooed that possibility. They say that as a leading American businessman, Elon Musk cannot thumb his nose at the court and still have the kind of coveted position running companies that he does. So the kind of chances that he would thumb his nose at it would be low in the view of the experts who I have spoken to. And also, they think that Twitter has brought a strong case, but time will tell, and we'll find out very quickly given the October trial date.
What do you think is the likelihood that, I mean, isn't there a strong likelihood, I guess, unless, the unique personalities involved, Elon Musk obviously being a very unique personality, that they would settle and, he gives, I don't know, Twitter gets $1 billion and Musk walks away, something like that. In a normal circumstance, probably something like that would be the outcome, but Elon is a very interesting figure, to say the least.
Absolutely. And I think that both sides recognize that the parties are trying to get the best litigation position, that every day that this goes on, Twitter argues that it causes harm for the company. Now, October might seem like a couple of months away, might seem like a blink of an eye, but it's a couple of months of this being out there, of this being unsettled, and Twitter argues that every day that kind of damages the company. So that could lead people to the negotiating table. So can all of the analysis out there saying that Twitter has brought a strong case might lead Musk to the negotiating table. So it's quite possible that it's not an all or nothing proposition and that both sides are essentially playing a high stakes game of chicken.
And there's been some speculation that buying Twitter was not actually, Elon Musk's ultimate goal here, and his actual goal was to be able to sell a bunch of Tesla stock without raising concerns among Tesla investors and the market that he was like abandoning Tesla. The share price was, extraordinarily high. You could imagine somebody, holding that much stock that has gone up 10x over the last year or whatever, wanting to get some out of it, but so much of the brand and so much of the value was dependent on him and is dependent on him that if he just starts selling, then it collapses. And so he's caught in a real catch-22 there. And so he has to come up with some way to be able to justify selling that doesn't look like he's trying to diversify out of Tesla. And you could come up, he's a free speech defender. He's a crazy dude who wants to own Twitter. That makes perfect sense. This doesn't have anything to do with him wanting to cash out of his Tesla. He just wants to own Twitter so that he can own the libs. And so that allows him then to get, to pull money out of Tesla, but he doesn't actually want to own Twitter, so then he blows up the deal. That's the speculation of what was going on here. Do the legal experts that you've talked to put any stock in that, and does the pattern of behavior kind of fit with that theory?
Well, there have been theories of many different ulterior motives on Elon Musk's part. Forgetting about what the legal experts are saying, even in court yesterday, you had Twitter's counsel saying, hey, we've provided all of this information, this private information about our accounts for this these supposed bot audits, and there is speculation that Elon Musk wants to start a competing platform, and that so that would be another idea for an ulterior motive. I'll give you, of course, there is other litigation with Elon Musk in the Southern District of New York brought by the SEC. Now, that was caused by a very similar declaration with what he was going to purchase with that take Tesla private and inserting a 420 joke into the price of the stock. Remember, when he made this offer to purchase Twitter, he inserted the same sort of figure. There was plenty of speculation at the time, as you know, that this wasn't serious, that this is he was brought to court by the SEC in the Southern District for these brash announcements on Twitter, where something else is lurking in the background.
That's fascinating, and also still amusing that so many employees, crying, miserable at the idea that Elon Musk was going to take over the company. Now the company's suing, forcing him to do
that happen.
Just that thing, same thing. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back with more Rising right after this.